the other group that I know you're a rock star with is the first responders. And so I just wanted to just get your feedback, because we both know they're exposed to acute stress, chronic stress. It just affects a large part of their life, just that sympathetic activation continually. And so I just wanted to ask you, just because I know you do incredible work with first responders.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for the last few decades to work in that environment. And they're elite performers. So it's really almost everything I've already said, right? However, the cumulative exposure to traumatic humanities problems and issues and tragedies really takes a toll. So what I recommend is in all the transitions, on their way to work, on their way home. The big thing that we see in families of first responders is there's this window when they get home. It's really important for the family, but they're so burned out. And they're still thinking about the day, and they could be irritable, or they've got a pileup of stress and adrenaline and cortisol. And so I ask them to wear them on their way home. And so many spouses have said they come in the door more engaged, more grounded. You know, we're not going, okay, what kind of night is it going to be? Because we don't know how stressed out they are. So there's a more consistent re-entry into the family, which is huge. And then when they're writing reports or after an incident where they did get elevated, which is totally normal, to go ahead and toss them on after the incident in between calls. Or firefighters have told me that when they get back to the station, you know, they've got to go to sleep. They're on 72-hour or longer shifts. And so they will put them in their socks, and they're consistently reporting going to sleep faster. And then when they're having to wake up quickly, they're not as hyper vigilant. And they can even wear them during a call. You know, most of the calls obviously are medical. And so they've often reported to me that they feel like they have better concentration. They're less distracted.
It makes sense.
And it all makes sense. And so the neat thing is when one first responder uses them, and then they tell another, and they tell another, and they tell another. And first responders love devices. And then when we're able to explain to them, what is this really doing for you? And it's really an energy efficiency regulator is how I see it. Because if you get pumped in a stressful situation, adrenaline, cortisol is getting dumped in the system. If you don't downregulate for a first responder, then you hit that next call at a higher, activated state. So you want to reset, or I call it reboot, every time, every call. And also you want to be in that regulated state when a call comes out. And so it's been very useful. It makes sense to them, and they're not going to do anything that doesn't make sense to them. You know, the science behind it makes a lot of sense. And the bottom line is, for any of these folks, when we feel better, that's when we say this works.